Welcome, Dragon Lords. Well, we have a new event coming up this week. A brand new one, unlike, well, it's actually kind of like some of the things we've done before, but this one's going to be ruthless. Kind of reminds me of a card game we love to play called Pinochle. It's definitely a cutthroat game, but this one's going to be cutthroat for all of us. I'm going to go over the rules and maybe some strategies and things that you need to do to prepare. So let's go into that. So it's called Fight Pits, and we're going to go into the rules. Got them saved here. Hopefully you can see these. Alrighty. What is Fight Pits? In a nutshell, Fight Pits has each team working together to go from the pit all the way up to the Coliseum. Teams will face off against the teams in their respective leagues, with everyone starting in the pit. So it's just a no-holds brawl down there. Every team will be able to attack other teams in their pit to steal points from them. So as you attack them, you're going to take some of their points, and vice versa. I kind of feel sorry for the lower leagues or the lower teams because they're weak compared to others in their league. So the stronger your team is in that league, the better your chances are to move up. Well, what does the pit look like? Well, the pit is the bottom level. And as you move up, go from the pit to the jail to the training grounds to the Coliseum, each round is 6 hours long. There's 17 rounds. All teams start, as it said, in the pit. At the start of a round, teams in the same pit will start with the same victory points. And those are the victory points right up here: 50,000, 75,000, 125, and 200,000 points. Sorry about the spacing. But that every team's going to start with that. And then it's a matter of stealing it. And then ending up at the end of the 6 hours with more or the most, and being the victor or the champion of that particular level. And that'll be posted. And that person, that team, will be a target for all the others. So, not sure if you want to be in second place and just save it to the end, but you're definitely going to be a target if you're doing well. Teams in the higher pits begin with more VP points, as we just saw. During the round, attack other teams in your pit to steal their VP. Each attack in higher pits steals more VP per attack and earns more individual points. At the end of a round, teams will move to a new pit base on VP in that round. The team's final score is the total VP gained, which is victory points, gained over the course of 17 rounds. Again, the rounds last 6 hours, and there's 17 of them. How can you coordinate? Now, this is the neat thing. There's going to be an information box that the leader of your team can put in the targets and the strategy. Now, in our team, we've picked a leader for this particular event. We kind of trade off on this, but this is definitely a person that's going to have to be on all the time and be mathematically attuned to what's happening. So if you have to switch strategies or switch targets, you can switch targets immediately and start to gather more points off of those people. A person with low points, you're not going to get as much off of them. But a person with high points, you're going to get more off of them. So this person, you're going to have to designate a leader, a coach for this particular event, and let that person run the event. And that little box will be his or her communication to the team. So that's going to be really nice. We've never had that before. What types of attacks are available? Now, we've seen this before on several others. It's an inner fire and energy event. So you're going to, first 24 hours on Wednesday to Thursday, we're going to farm for energy and inner fires. And then on Thursday, we're going to start the event, the pit fight. I think it's real important that everybody in those first 6 hours in your guild, your team, get on there and you start attacking. Because you want to get out of the pit as soon as possible. On the second event, you want to move up. You don't want to stay down there because there's more points to be accrued in the higher levels. First 6 hours is crucial for all of us. Of course, you know about the super attack. That's 4 times individual points. And mega attacks 30 times. Now, the neat thing about inner fires, if you attack a base, that gives you pretty decent, points. And you do it with 5 dragons with inner fires. Now, 3 of yours and 2 other players. Yes, they're going to be sacrificing those points to the overall good. But you can get, about 1,000 points off of one attack. And with 3 inner fires on 3 dragons, you can get about 700 points. So it's amazing how inner fires can come into the equation. I would use these to get out of the pit as soon as possible. You want out of there and get out of that melee. So, and then save them for when you move up into the higher pits or the higher levels like the Colosseum, and use them in order to win the game. So I see that the inner fires are going to be more of a bookmark for our game. We're going to use them at the very beginning, and we're going to use them at the very, very end in order to seal the deal, so to speak. But that is our game coming up, which is called Fight Pits. And it is a Dragon Eat Dragon world that they're creating. So that's what I would suggest. Again, pick a leader on your team and use that person and give them the autonomy to make decisions and to work the math and to direct the team. Everybody gets on for the first 6 hours and get out of that pit. I would use inner fires. I just get out of that pit as soon as possible. Then I would save my inner fires. Now this might change, and I might do a live cast during the event. But I'd use my inner fires at the end, the last 2 rounds. Last 2 rounds, and get out of wherever you're at and solidify a championship, hopefully for your team. But I hope that answers your questions about Fight Pits. It's a lot like the events that we've had with inner fires and with energy. But definitely make sure that your team is a team, because this is going to require more teamwork than a lot of ours. Tug of War, I think it's a lot like Tug of War, because that's what it's going to feel like, is Tug of War. So if you did very well in Tug of War, like we did, Legion Psychos, which is our guild, if you did very well in Tug of War, I think you'll do very well in Fight Pits. But have fun, enjoy it, and I'll see you on the islands. Take care, guys. There it is. I'll figure this out.